Hi guys, welcome back to Crypto Chester. My name is Chester and today I'm here to give you an update on Bitcoin. First of all, I'm going to be starting off with the short term for Bitcoin, then the mid term for Bitcoin, and then the long term for Bitcoin. Once I've covered a few of them, I do actually want to jump down to the 15 minute because some crucial stuff is happening on that 15 minute that we do need to take into account in terms of the live price action, referencing the short term, referencing a potential position that I would be looking for at this time, right? Let's just talk about what happened yesterday, right? We were looking for a short position to come through, right? We're looking for a short position to come through. In terms of that, we waited for this retest. We waited for this retest, and this is where I entered my position, right? I entered my position around that point there. In terms of a price, that's around that 35,800 mark, right? And we were in a short position there, right? We were in a short position, and we were looking for this measure move to be completed to the downside, right? As you can see here, measured out perfectly, like so. Unfortunately, we didn't see that, and just let me explain why we saw this reversal in the price, and why I closed my position at this support point here, right? So as I said, I entered at this 35,800 zone, and I rode it down, right? I rode it down, saw this colossal big dump, deep sea dive dump there. We took a nice chunk of profit at this grey box zone that we got coming through here, acting as high levels of support. So I was like, yep, that's definitely a nice bit of profit taking there. And then obviously the price conceded to dump from there, right? And then we saw this higher low candle get created. Now let me jump to the midterm right now, because if we look at the MACD, I was referencing the MACD throughout the trade here, and as you can see, when we get to this zone, let me make this more visually appealing for you guys. When you get to this zone here, the bottom side of this symmetrical triangle on the midterm here, you can actually see this is where the trend started to fizzle out. This is where the trend started to fizzle out, and that's basically what happened here in this zone here. So I was basically I was watching this zone, seeing if we were going to break this MACD trend to the downside here, and no, we didn't. We saw that reversal in the trend there, and I was like, right, that's an indication for me to take my profit, close that trade there, and that's basically what happened with that short there, guys. A bit annoying, granted. We were looking for a bit more in terms of a percent for that trade. We were looking for a near enough 6% there, so that would have been great. But it was around a 2% or something along the lines of that, right? Yeah, around a 2.5%. So not so bad. Still a successful trade. Profit is profit at the end of the day, guys. In terms of what's happening now with Bitcoin, let me jump to the 15 minute right now. So as you can see here on the 15 minute, we do have this ascending triangle, right? We're testing the top side of this ascending triangle, and to be honest, it looks pretty healthy, right? It looks pretty healthy. I mean, I would have liked another touch to the downside here for a little bit more confirmation for the completion of the chart pattern here, but unfortunately we can't get everything that we wish for, right? So yeah, at this point in time, we have just come up and we found a big level of resistance at this 200 moving average, and obviously this is the 15 minute, guys, so it's very live. I usually trade on the hourly or the 4 hourly, being a swing trader, but it's crucial at this point here because I like to reference these timeframes to the lower side, because they can actually have quite a big impact in predicting the price on the short term and the midterm there. So yeah, that's why I do reference this time frame, and this is interesting because we do have a very nice pattern playing out here. Potential for a long position if we are to break to the upside. Potential there. Obviously, it's not going to be very big because it is a 15-minute time frame, probably like around 2% there. So a nice little 2% scalp to think about if we are going to break to the top side here. So yeah, that's one thing to think about. And obviously, we do have this 200 moving average here that it's likely that we are going to find. As you can see, we have found a bit of resistance off that as well. So if we do find a level of support, it's basically an indication that we are going to go up from there. So that's definitely something to consider, guys. But yeah, if the resistance does carry on playing out, I would be looking at the price to come down and test this horizontal support point at that 35,790. As you can see, we have just claimed this 36,000, and we are riding up with quite a lot of strength indeed. Another reason why we've had this swift rejection is because, as you can see on the RSI here, that's a lot of steep buying power. So it's only natural for some sort of correction to be happening right now, and that's why I think for the next hour or so, we are going to see a pretty flaccid Bitcoin. It's just going to be a bit of a consolidationary period, basically validating this pump that we've had going on here, right? But yeah, definitely something to think about if we are going to pump to the upside in terms of the short term, or the short term on the 15 minute here. If we are going to dump to the downside, right, I would be looking at a measure move along the lines of this. Obviously, I know a lot of traders commonly do it. They basically just take the size of this, right? They take the size of this and then put it like so. But for me, crypto, it doesn't usually always plan out like that, and I do like to manage my risk in terms of my rewards. So if we are going to be doing this on every single measure move, the likelihood of it actually playing out is pretty low, right? So that's why I like to go on the previous downtrend if we are in a short, and obviously the previous uptrend if we are on a long, just to be safe. Because there's like 90% chance you're going to hit this measure move rather than get trapped out on one of these and like wick to it and not even make it to that take profit, right? So yeah, definitely a few things to think about in terms of drawing measure moves for yourself there, guys. In terms of a short position, if we do break this to the downside, right? If we do break this to the downside, we could be looking at a potential 2% trade as well, right? Now, let's jump back to the midterm. The short term here. Let's jump back to the short term. We are testing an absolutely crucial point in this giant symmetrical triangle we've got playing out here. Absolutely crucial. I know a lot of YouTubers went long here and got absolutely screwed. We were waiting for that retest, and no, we didn't see it. We saw it actually plummet through the top side of this symmetrical triangle playing out here, and that's why we did not enter that trade. And yes, at this point in time, we are testing the lower side of it, right? We're testing the lower side of this symmetrical triangle. Hopefully, we can find a level of support here. But as you can see, this consolidationary period is basically holding us up right now. It is holding us up. If I do see us going down any lower, which to be honest, it's not great because obviously we are setting these lower highs continuously. But on the plus side, we have seen a swift rejection coming off this grey box zone near enough at around that 35,400 zone. So basically, that is a high low that's been set, right? That's a high low that's been set. As long as we don't see insane resistance off this point and then come down and test this support line of this channel that we've got coming through here, as long as we don't come down and test that zone and invalidate this high low that we've got coming through here, it's looking like we are going to progress up, right? If we are going to progress up, that's going to be very good. One, because we can make a nice little trade on the short term here. And two, we are going to be reclaiming this giant symmetrical triangle coming through here, which is good news indeed, because it basically means we could have actually potential to have that progression to the upside from there, right? Key points to watch out for right now. Is this 36,625 zone, right? That's gonna provide heavy amounts of resistance. But as you can see here, if we do find a nice level of support on it, then it's looking very, very juicy in terms of progression to the upside right now. In terms of the MACD right now, in terms of the hourly time frame, you can see here, if we are to see some sort of downswing in terms of a downtrend coming through here, the resistance playing out from here, hopefully it's not going to be too big. It's not going to be too big because, as you can see, we do have this nice level of support coming through on the MACD. So yeah, this would be a point to watch from when we have this bearish crossover here. This would be a key point to watch. If we were to lose that, then it is an indication that we are going to come low, and that would mean we are going to be eradicating these high lows here, and that basically means that we are going to have that continuation to the downside and see that reversing the trend, and potentially even another little pop at this measure move coming down here in terms of a short position, right? So yeah, a few things to think about there in terms of referencing the MACD. I don't think the RSI's got a lot going on. Not a lot going on the RSI for the hourly. So let's jump to the midterm, right? Let's jump to the midterm and see what's going on there. See if we can get let's chuck some moving averages in here, and we'll see if we've got any levels of support, some resistance from moving averages coming through. As you can see, we are finding heavy resistance off this 55, which is this green one coming up here, right? We are finding heavy resistance off that. So yeah, in terms of a short-term target right now, in terms of the short-term for Bitcoin, it would be to one, get over the bottom side of this symmetrical triangle coming through here and claim it and find support on it, and hopefully start riding that wave to the upside here. And the second point would be to get over this 55 and stop finding resistance, and that is at that 36,450 sort of mark, right? Yeah, so that would be the short-term target for Bitcoin. But as I said, if we are going to get rejected, key point for us not to eradicate is this higher low here, and that's sat around that 35,600 to 400 sort of zone there. So yeah, a few things to think about there. I mean, we are currently finding a nice little support on the 21 moving average, which is this yellow one coming through here, and also this 10 moving average coming through here as well. So yeah, a few things to think about there in terms of Bitcoin on the short term. In terms of the short-term targets, in terms of the price action and where we actually want it to go, right? Yeah, very interesting stuff. As I described at the start of the stream here, the reason why we got out of that trade was because we found this level of support on the MACD, and that's an indication as well. We're likely to find it again if we do see. Well, we currently are in a downtrend, and it's fizzling out in terms of the hourly time, the midterm, right? And that's because we are seeing that progression read to the upside in terms of the price, which is good. It's very good indeed. We are looking for that bullish crossover. But with that being said, as you can see here, we do have this cycle coming to the downside, right? This cycle comes to the downside, and it's based in terms of the uptrend coming through here, right? It is an indication here we're either going to break and have a nice pump in the price, start a nice juicy uptrend, and actually potentially break to the top side of this symmetrical triangle on the midterm here. That's going to be the ideal scenario, because that means we are looking at a price target of around 39 and around 37 to think about, right? But yeah, we do have the support on the lower side if we do have the continuation of this downtrend playing out. If we do find that resistance on the lower side of the symmetrical triangle on the short term, right? So yeah, a few things to think about in terms of referencing different things there. In terms of the RSI here on the midterm, as you can see, this downward sloping resistance line is playing out. And if we do see a nice surge in the price, we do need to watch and manage this point pretty crucially, because if we are going to see the resistance coming and playing off that, it's going to have an effect in the price, and that does, in a sense, near enough line up perfectly with the top side of the symmetrical triangle on the midterm here for Bitcoin. So yeah, that's another place that I would be watching and referencing to that degree as well. Right now, if we look at this this symmetrical triangle playing out here, if we're looking for a measure move to come up from that, it would be along the lines of this in terms of a long position, right? And that is a very juicy long position indeed. Obviously, depending on where we're going to break along this symmetrical triangle here, if I just get some sort of percentages going there, look, you're looking at maybe like a 10 or 11% gain there for Bitcoin. Very nice indeed. I mean, that would be ideal if we can basically start invalidating these lower highs coming through here. And that's, if we start doing that, it's basically an initiation, and we are going to have that continuation to the upside and basically see that reversing the trend. But at this point in time, we are setting these lower highs continuously. Not good stuff. Basically means we are potentially going to keep fizzling down from there. But yeah, definitely a few points to watch there in terms of the short term here for Bitcoin. Let me jump to the long term right now. As discussed yesterday, another reasoning for the short position that we were going to enter there. It's actually it does actually correlate perfectly with all these candle body closes here in terms of the long term here. And yes, granted, we didn't quite get there. And that was because of that support found on the MACD on the midterm, right? As discussed here, yeah, as discussed here. And this is why for me, this is why I closed my trade, right? Because I saw the support being formed here, saw us fizzling out. I was like, yeah. Nope, we're done. We're done there, not risking it, taking the profit. Very good indeed. Never be afraid to take the profit. But yeah, we didn't actually get to the lower side, annoyingly, of this descending triangle here. We didn't actually get to the lower side, and that was a price target for ourselves, and it did correlate very well with a measure move as well on the shorter time frames. But yeah, in terms of live price right now, stop talking about the short. In terms of live price right now, we have come up and we have tested this 36,500 zone in terms of this 10 moving average coming through here. So we have tested that, and we are actually finding a bit of pretty resistance coming through, a bit of resistance to the downside. So yeah, at this point in time, the target for the daily would be at least to get a candle close above this moving average here around that 36,700. And then we can chivvy up the idea potentially of looking at a measure move to the top side, potentially looking something along the lines of this. Obviously, I won't do it on this because we didn't actually get to that lower point, so we would be looking at a potential measure move looking along the lines of this. In terms of percents for this long position that we could be thinking about, it's not going to be today, it's not going to be tomorrow. I think it's going to be in a few days or so. We're looking at around at 8% there. So a few things to watch there in terms of Bitcoin. That is the daily. Let's jump to the weekly, see what's happening on the weekly. Not too much going on the weekly in terms of just looking at candle bodies here. We are just setting these high lows continuously in terms of the wicks, but yeah, we're looking that candle body open there. That's looking pretty good indeed. As long as we don't fall behind and eradicate this high low here, it's looking like we are going to see that progression to the upside, potentially testing this 40,400 zone. I mean, ideal scenario, right? Absolute ideal scenario for the weekly here in the next 8.5 hours, which I don't think it's going to play out, would be to come up and get above this previous lower high point here, and that is sat at around that 40,900. I mean, I'm not saying we're going to get there. I just think that would be the ideal scenario if we are looking at a complete reverse in the trend. Like, ideally, what's happening now, we are seeing, obviously, these lower highs get created, these higher lows getting created, and that symmetrical triangle playing out on near enough all of these time frames, right? Near enough all of these time frames. So we do need to think about that crucially, because if we do see that coil up, we are going to be looking at a potential break to the upside or a potential break to the downside. So yeah, it's going to be quite a crucial point over the next few days here with Bitcoin to see what's going to happen. But in terms of the weekly close, it's not looking too bad. I would like to see it come up, at least have a like 37,300 close. But do take into account we do have heavy levels of resistance coming through there, right? So yeah, a few things to think about there in terms of the weekly. Let's jump into the monthly, right? Obviously, we're only 6 days into the month, right? And another reason that we were hoping to get down to this 34,000 sort of level, and that was that short position we entered yesterday, and that was basically another correlation that we could get down there, testing this 10 moving average on the weekly chart here. But unfortunately, as stated, we didn't get there. Obviously, we do have 24 days and 9 hours left of this monthly candle here. So yeah, it's not looking so bad. But yeah, it's not looking the best, right? It's not looking the best, but it shows that we are finding level of support on this zone here. But yet we are yet to test it, right? So yeah, a few things to think about there in terms of the monthly, right? Not too much going on, right? But yeah, guys, that's going to be the video. That's going to be the update. If you like the video, smash that thumbs up. Helps me out tremendously. Obviously, new YouTuber, need help with those algorithms, guys, and I appreciate all your support here. And guys, I stream every single day, Monday to Friday, 1 to 2 hours. So if you want to smash the subscribe button and that notification bell, you're never going to miss one of my uploads. You're never going to miss one of my streams here. And yeah, guys, I will see you bright and breezy in the morning for another, it's probably going to be like maybe I might even do a 3-hour stream there for you guys in the morning, doing some live TA. But yeah, guys, have a good evening, and peace out from me, Crypto Chester.